In the first fight, we have Irina Alekseeva versus Klaudia Sygula. One's got volume, the other's got reach, but who can solve the other's puzzle? Irina Alekseeva is 34 years old, 5-2, 3-2 in her last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 19 months ago. She lands 3.84 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.55. She has a 43% finish rate and is a -225 favorite. Klaudia Sygula is 26 years old, 6-2, 4-1 in her last 5 fights, coming off a TKO loss 7 months ago. She lands 1.89 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 6. She has a 38% finish rate and is a +185 underdog. Sygula is 0-1 in the UFC. Irina's 1-1. They both have a common opponent in Mullins, who beat both ladies. Mullins beat Irina by decision and ended up finishing Sygula by second round TKO. Sygula will enjoy a 2-inch reach advantage, and she's 8 years younger. I think Irina will get ahead with her volume and lead the dance. Sygula's head movement and striking defense gets her into trouble. She absorbs double the strikes that Irina throws. Irina does use some grappling as well, and Sygula only has a 33% takedown defense rate. I think Sygula's defense is what will determine the fight, so I'm going to go with Irina Alekseeva to get it done. What's up, everybody? Crossover MMA back in here for another video. Now let's get back into UFC Fight Night Baku. In the next fight, we have Seokhyeon versus Obon Elliot. 2 rising welterweights enter with identical momentum. Only one leads with legit height. Seokhyeon is 31 years old, 11-2, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a unanimous decision win 9 months ago. He lands 3.6 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.33, has a 46% finish rate, and is a +300 underdog. Obon Elliot is 27 years old, 12-2, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 6 months ago. He lands 4.26 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 2.25, is a 43% finish rate, and is a -400 favorite. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I think it's really good matchmaking if you look at their stats. Similar number of fights, 1-inch reach difference, similar finishing rates, and etc. Obon Elliot lands at a slightly higher clip and absorbs slightly less. I think on the feet, both men are going to have some success. Neither guy shies away from the fight. Both men also use grappling as they both land over 2 takedowns per 15 minutes. Kyo will be making his UFC debut, and Elliot is 3-0 in the UFC. I think we're going to get a firefight, and this fight will be more competitive than what the betting line is suggesting. I really think Crow is a live dog, but I like the slightly higher output from Elliot. I'm going to take the Welsh gangster, Obon Elliot, in a really fun scrap. In the next fight, we have Hamdy Abdelwahab versus Muhammad Usman. Heavy hands and heavyweight cardio. Who gasses first in this ticking time bomb? Hamdy Abdelwahab is 32 years old, 6-0, coming off a robbery win 4 months ago. He lands 3.4 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.87, he has an 83% finish rate, and is a -200 favorite. Muhammad Usman is 36 years old, 11-4, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 10 months ago. He lands 3.41 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.41, he has a 40% finish rate, and is a +170 underdog. Both men are coming into this fight with momentum going in opposite directions. Hamdy is undefeated and Usman's on a 2-fight skid. They have the same output, but Usman does get hit a bit more. Usman will enjoy a 7-inch reach advantage. I'm curious to see if he actually uses it. Usman's 3-2 in the UFC, and Hamdy's 1-0 with that, what I thought was a robbery win in his last fight. Usman likes to fight at range, doesn't really step into range to land with big power. Usman's 1 KO in the UFC was a counter left hook after his opponent overextended. That might be a good recipe for him in this fight. Hamdy fights more on the front foot and also likes to use some grappling for control. I think if this fight goes past the first round, both men will be gassed and really slow down. I'm tempted to take Usman just based on the 7-inch reach advantage, but I haven't seen anything in this game to convince me. I think Hamdy will do just enough to get the win, but it's heavyweight and one punch can end the fight at any point. In the next fight, we have Daria Zhelezniakova versus Mullins. Run it back. Can Daria flip the script, or will Mullins run through her again? Daria is 29 years old, 9-2, 3-2 in her last 5 fights, coming off a submission loss 8 months ago. She lands 3.29 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 1.7. She has a 46% finish rate. Mullins is 33 years old, 7-1, 4-1 in her last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 7 months ago. She lands 3.43 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.26. She has a 50% finish rate. This is a rematch from a fight from 2022 where Melissa Mullins finished Daria by a first-round TKO. Daria is 1-1 since joining the UFC, and she's a striker with not that great takedown defense. Melissa Mullins is a dog and brings it to the fight and brings the fight to her opponents whether she wins or loses. Mullins is a striker that uses a decent amount of grappling as well. She lands 1.5 takedowns per 15 minutes. I don't think we're going to see anything different in this fight from the first fight where Mullins just walked through Daria. Give me Melissa Mullins to get it done. In the next fight, we have Ismail Naurdiev versus JunYong Park. Power versus pressure, speed versus smarts. Who's got the edge when the chess match goes live? Ismail Naurdiev is 28 years old, 24-7, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision win 7 months ago. He lands 3.41 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 1.52. He has a 58% finish rate and is a plus 185 underdog. JunYong Park is 34 years old, 18-6, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off decision wins 7 months ago. He lands 4.77 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.42. He has a 46% finish rate and is a minus 225 favorite. Naurdiev is on a 2-fight win streak. Park is coming in off a win as well. I think this will be a very competitive fight. Naurdiev is a striker with solid power in his hands. I think he'll be the faster, more dynamic guy on the feet. Park is well-rounded, but only thing that kind of gets noticed is his volume. He lands nearly 5 significant strikes per minute, but absorbs nearly 4. Park also isn't afraid to use his grappling when he isn't having much success on the feet, and I think he'll have to do some of that in this matchup as well. Naurdiev mixes in the grappling as well, so this should be a very evenly matched fight. I think Park will make this a really tough fight as I really like his fight IQ and his ability to adapt on the fly. I'm going to take the veteran experience and fight IQ of Park in a really tough fight. Naurdiev is a very live dog, and it would not surprise me to see his hand get raised. In the next fight, we have Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maksum. 2 slick grapplers, 1 cage. Will Tagir grind it out, or can Maksum flip the script early? Tagir Ulanbekov is 33 years old, 16-2, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a submission win. He lands 3.13 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.2, he has a 50% finish rate, and is a minus 285 favorite. Azat Maksum is 30 years old, 7-1. Azat Maksum is 30 years old, 17-1, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision win. He lands 2.8 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 5.23. He has a 67% finish rate and is a plus 230 underdog. This will be a very competitive fight between similar fighters. Maksum is 1-1 in the UFC, and Tagir is on a 3-fight win streak. Maksum is on a 1-fight skid. Tagir has a slightly higher output at 3.13 versus 2.8. Both fighters use their grappling as well. Tagir lands 3.56 takedowns per 15 minutes, and Maksum lands 2. I think Maksum will be the slightly faster striker on the feet and might land the heavier shots. I think Maksum will be very dangerous in the first round, but Tagir will get a takedown and use that to slow Maksum down. I think Tagir gets the grappling halfway through the first round and just starts to wear down Maksum. Give me Tagir Ulanbekov to get it done with his grappling. In the next fight, we have Muhammad Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. High risk versus high reward. Can Grad's chaos crack Naimov, or will precision win the war? Naimov is 30 years old, 12-3, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision win 4 months ago. He lands 2.94 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.77. He has a 53% finish rate and is a minus 220 favorite. Bogdan Grad is 29 years old, 15-2, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 4 months ago. He lands 5.83 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 7.84. He has a 71% finish rate and is a plus 180 underdog. I think this will be an explosive and violent matchup between these two. Grad's on a 4-fight win streak, 1-0 in the UFC. Naimov won his last fight and is 4-1 in the UFC. Grad uses very high output at almost 6 significant strikes per minute. However, he absorbs almost 8 significant strikes per minute. Naimov lands less than 3 significant strikes per minute, but absorbs 4. This should be an exciting scrap. I think both men will mix in the grappling as well. Grad lands 3.5 takedowns per 15 minutes, and Naimov lands 2. Anything can happen in this fight. Either guy can finish the other. I think both men will have success, or we see a dramatic comeback as well. Hopefully we get a treat with this one. Grad's a very live dog here and it's solid value, but I'm going to go with Naimov in a really tough fight. In the next fight, we have Curtis Blaydes versus Rizvan Kuniev. Heavyweight versus UFC debut. Blaydes has everything to lose in this one-sided setup. Curtis Blaydes is 34 years old, 18-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Coming off a TKO loss, he lands 3.54 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 1.91. He has a 57% finish rate and is a -265 favorite. Kuniev is 33 years old, 12-2-1, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win. He lands 5.82 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 1.25. He has a 53% finish rate and is a +225 underdog. This is a heavyweight matchup. I'm trying to figure out why it's even happening. Did Blaydes upset someone at the UFC or what? He's the number 5 ranked heavyweight in the world, fighting the guy making his UFC debut. Kuniev is on a 12-fight unbeaten streak and making his UFC debut off of Dana White's Contender Series. Kuniev is a high-output heavyweight, landed at almost 6 significant strikes per minute. Blaydes lands at a much lower rate at 3.5. Blaydes is a heavy wrestler, lands 5.69 takedowns per 15 minutes. And Kuniev himself lands 2.82. Blaydes has a takedown defense of only 32%, while Kuniev has a 100% takedown defense. Blaydes will enjoy a 4-inch reach advantage as well. This could be a dangerous fight for Blaydes, as one punch can change everything at heavyweight, and he's been known to get chinned by powerful heavyweight strikers. I'm going to go with the veteran experience and the wrestling of Curtis Blaydes in this one. In the next fight, we have Nazim Sadykhov versus Nikolas. Both pack a punch, but can Mota survive the heat Sadykhov brings to every round? Nazim Sadykhov is 31 years old, 10-1-1, 4-0-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 3 months ago. He lands 4.7 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 5.66, he has a 75% finish rate, and is a -400 favorite. Nikolas is 32 years old, 15-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision win 6 months ago. He lands 3.64 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.5, has a 50% finish rate, and is a +300 underdog. This should be another fun scrap on the card. Nazim Sadykhov is on an 11-fight unbeaten streak. Mota has some momentum as well, as he's on a 3-fight unbeaten streak. Even though he got bailed out in the Trey Ogden fight, he was clearly losing. Both men do have legit power in their hands to turn the tide with one punch. Sadykhov is a high output, landing 4.7 significant strikes per minute. Mixes in the grappling as well, lands 1.54 takedowns per 15 minutes. Mota is a striker that looks to land that big shot to get his opponents out of there. He has solid takedown defense at 82%, but he can be chinny at times. He's gotten finished in 2 of his 5 UFC fights. I think Mota will make this a dangerous fight, but ultimately I think he just clipped a bit too much in the pocket. Give me Nazim Sadykhov for the win. In the next fight, we have Tofik Musayev versus Miktybek Orbay. The rising champ meets UFC gritty breakout guy who stands tall when the smoke clears. Tofik is 35 years old, 22-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 19 months ago. He lands 4.9 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.2, he has an 81% finish rate, and is a +140 underdog. Miktybek Orbay is 27 years old, 13-2-1, 5-4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 7 months ago. He lands 3.42 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 5.7. He has a 69% finish rate and is a -160 favorite. Tofik will be making his UFC debut from Rizin. He's also fought in Bellator as well. He's a former Rizin champion with a win over Patricky Pitbull. Tofik has big power. 18 of his 22 wins are by TKO, and he does have 2 submission wins on his resume as well. He's also high output, so this one should be a treat. Orbay is coming into this fight off of a war with Mateusz Rebecki, one of the best fights of 2024. Go check it out. Orbay is a dog. He shows up to scrap and just gets after it. I think Orbay will take a few things away from his last fight and it'll make him better. Tofik does have championship fight experience, but fighters haven't transitioned well into the UFC lately, coming from other promotions. This one is tricky for Orbay, is very hittable, but I'm gonna go with the youth and the guy with the UFC experience in Miktybek Orbay. In the co-main event, we have Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Muay Thai Flash versus Chilean Chaos. Can Bahamondes finish Fiziev or get blasted early? Rafael Fiziev is 32 years old, 12-4, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 3 months ago. He lands 4.85 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.95, has a 56% finish rate, and is a -112 favorite. Ignacio Bahamondes is 27 years old, 17-5, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a submission win 3 months ago. He lands 7.09 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.36, is a 59% finish rate, and is a -108 favorite. This fight is pretty much a pick'em. Fiziev started a bigger favorite, and now it's virtually a pick'em. We have 2 strikers, very unique styles at lightweight. Fiziev is a Muay Thai striker, super explosive, fast kicks, and powerful punches. Bahamondes is a massive lightweight at 6'3" with a 75-inch reach. He'll enjoy a 4-inch reach advantage. He switches stances, has a vast array of kicks, power in his hands, and judges the distance very well. Fiziev is on a 3-fight skid, 2 close losses to Justin Gaethje and a freak knee injury against Mateusz Gamrot. Bahamondes is on a 3-fight win streak with 3 finishes, 2 KOs and 1 sub. Fiziev is usually very active in the first round, but slows down as the fight goes on. Bahamondes is very high output, landing over 7 significant strikes per minute. Neither guy uses much grappling, and I don't expect it here as well. I think the size and reach difference will play a big role in this fight and will give Fiziev trouble. Early on, I think Fiziev's speed will be more pronounced, but as he slows down, I think Bahamondes will control the range. I think Fiziev will need a finish early on the feet because once he starts to slow down, I think Bahamondes will pick him apart from range and make him pay the price for trying to close the distance. Bahamondes needs to use his jab, low kicks, teeps to the body at range to just keep Fiziev at range. These are all the strikes he uses very well. This one has potential performance of the night and potential fight of the night written all over it. This one is a tough one as I really enjoy watching both guys. I'm going to go with the surging contender in Ignacio Bahamondes. Before we get into the main event, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more content. In the main event, we have Jamahal Hill versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Violence guaranteed. Will Hill's volume drown Khalil, or does Rountree deliver a devastating KO? Jamahal Hill is 34 years old, 12-3, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO loss 4 months ago. He lands 7.05 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.02, he has a 47% finish rate, and is a +130 underdog. Khalil Rountree is 35 years old, 14-6, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO loss 8 months ago. He lands 3.73 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.51, he has a 50% finish rate, and is a -155 favorite. This should be an explosive striker's delight in the main event. Jamahal Hill's kickboxing versus Khalil Rountree's Muay Thai. Both southpaw strikers, with Jamahal Hill occasionally going orthodox as well. Jamahal Hill is very high output at over 7 significant strikes landed per 15 minutes. Khalil is much more measured at 3.73. Both men are on skids, but Jamal's being 2 fights, whereas Khalil is just 1. I think the path to victory for Jamahal Hill would be using his volume and work rate to either land a big shot or just wear Khalil down, as we've seen him slow down in fights before. Khalil's path to victory for me will be to catch Jamahal Hill, whether he overextends and countering or closing the distance with a blitzing combination. I think we're going to see both men land good heavy shots, and both men have to deal with some adversity here. Jamahal Hill's footwork gets him into trouble sometimes, in my opinion. It's whether he's just being lazy and crossing his feet or bringing his feet too close together. That usually leaves him vulnerable at times. Khalil will need to be aware of his output and not allow Jamahal Hill just to get ahead of him on points. I do think Jamahal Hill's boxing will allow him to land some good shots on Khalil. Jamahal Hill looks to always get into firefights with his opponents and see who comes out on top. Khalil is more calculated, varies his strikes, but always looking to do damage. I think this is also potential fight of the night and should be an absolute war. It's a tough pick, but I'm going to go with Khalil Rountree in a fun scrap at light heavyweight. Let me know what you think. Questions, comments, thoughts, and your feedback are always welcome. And as always, until next time.